weekday. You know too well. We love to engage some lovely ladies doing the most out here. And today I've got Elizabeth from Risiih, and Elizabeth is absolutely charismatic. When you get to meet her, you're like, we can be besties. This one we can be besties. How you doing, Elizabeth?
I am so good. I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I love that you're here. So let's start with your journey into entrepreneurship. Somebody who's tuned in, they're like, okay, so yes, I've checked out your stuff, what you do, and I'm like, how did you begin? How did you pull this off? When did it all start?
Oh my God, this is such a funny story, right? So first of all, I'm a producer. I'm a journalist by profession. I'm a producer, did production at Ghetto Radio for the longest time, like 5 years now.
Yes.
And then during my tender there, I was at school at the time. Still at University of Nairobi. For the
Yes.
guys you listening from UN,
Yes.
alumni. Hey. So I was there and I got employed.
Yes.
And of course, I'm not going to tell my mom. Why?
Why?
Hey, those are two pocket monies. You know what do you mean? Nimwambie, and then she cuts my allowance.
Yes.
No.
You've got to keep it a secret.
Exactly.
She still knows where you go internship.
Yes,
Okay.
she knows I'm in internships and I'm trying to understand how life works in the media.
Yes.
So I'm getting a salary and I'm doing my internship.
Yes.
So a friend of mine used to work at a real estate company at the time, and she was like, hey, right now bypass is the thing, and I have someone who is selling land, and I feel like if we can buy this land, I can
Yes.
flip it and we can make some profit.
Oh, wow.
And at that time I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? See, I have some extra money. After all, house is being paid. I was paying for absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Your salary inakuja unaitumia tu,
Your
no
salary-
bills.
No bills at all.
Okay.
I'm telling you, at that time, I think we used to have clubs. We had Tribeca. I remember back in the day. That
Yes.
used to be my joint. I don't know, but we used to hang out. I never used to use my money for nothing else but going out. So I was like, okay, this seems to be a good opportunity. And what do I have to lose?
Okay.
So we bought the land in Bypass,
Yes.
Ruiru Bypass. And at that time, Cesar Ruiru Lukwanga, the bypass was coming in.
Yes.
And when we bought it, she was able to flip it a few months later for double the price.
No way.
Oh my God, let me tell you something. Okay, right now, youngsters, you make a lot of money. Nisawa, you guys, you'll be on YouTube and then you get 1.2. And I'm like, oh, okay, you do your thing. I'm fine.
You see the blogs, yeah?
Yeah. Back in the day, I felt like the double the price I got was a lot of money.
Wow.
So I was like, wait, what? See, we get another one. So we bought one and then we sold it. We
Yes.
bought another, sold it, and then
Yes.
eventually it became a thing. And then that's where Risiih investments came to happen.
So you quit your job on radio? Am you still doing it at this
Let
time?
me tell you, first of all, at that time, this is a funny thing with radio at that time. Back in the day, that radio was, it was the job had situations going on. You understand how it goes.
Okay.
So I lost my dad.
Yes.
And then a few months later, I also lost my job. So it was it's a do it or do it thing. And I was just doing it as I was just going with the flow. I was like, let me just do it and try. And I used to go through some challenges here and there. And being a woman in the real estate industry, it used to suck.
Yes.
So I was like, I need to create a place where ladies can buy land and be like, okay, no one is intimidating me. No one is trying to rob me. No one is trying to extort me and think that I'm stupid and I'm not understanding how this works.
And so it's a fellow woman who's selling this land, yeah?
Exactly. So, and I was like, you know what? I am tired and I used to wake up at 4 a.m. doing production. So, you know what? Let me just wake up and just take people and see and give them opportunities of just getting their own freedom. And I always say your freedom comes with you getting empowered.
Yes.
And right now that you can never go wrong with land.
Yes.
So that is how Risiih came about.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot. We've had a radio job here. There's a kasalo coming through. A friend tells you, listen, upper bypass, maguta furoti is coming up. So we have to strike the iron when it's very, very hot.
Exactly.
So you take that risk. That right there, how did you have faith in that? I'm assuming at this time you're young, okay?
Yes.
And you're thinking, when you get your money, it is either party or I buy things for my house, I buy things for myself. But for you thought about land.
In all honesty, the good thing that comes with being a youngster, the good thing that comes with being youth is that you are just a risk taker. You have no responsibilities.
Yes.
You're like, what's the worst that can happen?
Mhm.
And I don't know at what point we get to lose that. But that is the blessing that comes with being a youngster.
You can make all the mistakes as you can. You're young,
Exactly.
Yes.
At that age, just make all the mistakes you can. Because at that time I was like, if it doesn't work, I still have land, and my mom got me,
Yes.
and I still have my job here. So I was like, what am I losing?
Exactly.
So I made a mistake. But thank God this wasn't a mistake.
Yes.
It worked in my favor. So I'm like,
Ilijipa.
Ilijipa ikajipa.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. That's a beautiful story of how you started. You mentioned challenges. These are things that you, of course, are facing, especially in male-dominated industry, entrepreneurship. When you mention business, what comes to mind is like there has to be a man who's the top, who's probably the CEO. But for you, it's totally different. When you mention your business, it's Elizabeth is coming through. All right. So talk to me about the challenges you had to break to get to where you are.
Oh my God, let me tell you, first of all, this company started in my friend's living room.
Oh, wow.
She still works for me. She's a head of my sales.
Yes.
We work with her. I
Yes.
think I've empowered 100% of my women are 100% of my... Is it 90% of my workers are female?
Yes.
I believe in empowering women because honestly, it is a tough job. One of the things that really irritated me is when I was buying land. First of all, at that time, when you're buying... Right now, the people who are selling are older people. They're like, this is their retirement plan. I need to sell my land.
They bought it some years ago, so now you may appreciate it's time to sell it.
So let me tell you something funny about Kikuyus.
Yes.
Kikuyu, the old traditional one.
Yes.
They'll be like, Hamuduri. In short, where is the husband? I can only talk to the man. And then they'll be like, the way they spit when you're trying to blessing too. They'll spit in their chest and be like, I only talk about selling my female because they consider land as their female to another man. That was the biggest shocker of my life. Because I was like, I had to carry someone to pretend to be my partner and to pretend to be the CEO of the company to